I wanted to show you what I've been doing, which is a lot. Oh no, the battery on the laptop is running low. So I don't know if it's gonna hold up, but I have been making these epoxy cups, and I'm going to show you a few of them that I have made. This was the first one. Let's see if you guys can see it, or I'll put it over here. So lots of glitter and stuff. And tonight I'm going to be working on this one. It's been sanded. And here's another one that I did. So this is the last one. I didn't go live with these because I was kind of trying to make sure I could do these. I'm gonna put these over here out of the way. So this right here, this cup, I've already had one layer after I basically painted it, and then I put some decor on it, and then I went over it with a layer of epoxy. You can kind of see some of the, I put in some inks on it, so there's some color, but I sanded it because it wasn't completely level. So I'm just going to close that window because that laptop is going to die. So we're just going to do this without comments, or I'll see if I can load comments here. I don't know that I will be able to see any comments, but I wanted to show you guys basically how this is done. The important thing, probably won't go through the entire process here, but I did want to show you, that's not working. I don't know that that's gonna cut it. Some of the things that you need when you're doing epoxy, you can kind of see here I have a mask, and this particular filter is for VOCs, volatile compounds, because epoxy, when you use it, it stinks a lot. So I'll mix it up and I'll show you guys a little bit, but I will have to get the fan running, and so it gets kind of loud, but I needed to vent outside. What you see here inside all of this, you can kind of see some of the stuff right here. This is actually a grow tent. I have it vented out. Let me see if I can turn this so you can kind of see the vent. There's a vent there that I put in the side in one of the holes. This is a grow tent for plants. And I saw this on YouTube because it's taken me about a year to decide to do this. I have my epoxies over here. I have a bunch of measuring cups, all kinds of stuff, even some extra things for dropping epoxy in. I have myself a little level, so that I can go over here and make sure that my cup is level. So, and to make sure the surface is level, because you want things to be level. I have this right here is a silicone mat. They're pretty inexpensive. And then underneath it, just to keep this really flat, this is actually a cutting board that I got from Walmart. So I've got my mask. I have little measuring cups. I'm probably going to measure up maybe 10. Yeah, 10. It'll be 5 milliliters and 5 milliliters in these, and then I'll mix it together. That's because this is 2-part epoxy. And once it's mixed, and it takes about 2 minutes for the epoxy that I'm going to use. I'm using the amazing Clear Cast. In case you guys, A and B. There's always an A and B right here. I'll put them both in here, and I'm going to use some little stir sticks here. We got stir sticks. The stir sticks will go to put these into another cup. And I like to use these silicone cups because epoxy will not, it won't stick to the silicone when it's cured. You can just pop it off. There's actually might be a little bit. No, I did clean these. When I get a chance, I'll show you guys how to clean this stuff. So, lots of stuff to do to show you just how to make a coat. Now, this is going to be what they call a flood coat because it's going to go over the top of this and just cover this. And I'll probably pull this a little closer to myself. You can get these little silicone brushes to use or use your hands. The other thing that I have, oh, wait a minute, I have nitrile gloves. These are really super important because you don't want to get this stuff on yourself. Some people like to use, they'll like to use, oh, I don't need that one, have, you know, long sleeve on their arms. I'm not going to use long sleeve because to me you would need nitrile long sleeves and I don't have those. So here we go. I'm going to show you guys how to do this, and I'm going to just tell you right now, when I put this thing on my face, I'm going to get really sounding like Darth Vader probably. It's a necessary thing, and probably once I get everything mixed up and get it going, I will probably not show you guys the whole 9 yards going through this because I can't speed it up when I put it on here. And at that point, I'll probably stop the video. So let's just move this over that way so you guys can see it. And I'm going to go ahead and put this before I start mixing and put this mask on. So, yep, I hope you guys can hear me. It makes me kind of muted, but this is a safety precaution. And I use this grow tent to contain the fumes. When I'm done, when I shut off, I turn on my vent, and it takes me a little bit to get the breath going back and forth through here, but it's necessary. So anybody complaining about wearing masks for COVID, I'm going to tell you guys right now that if you can't wear a paper mask over your face, this is not for you. This is not something you want to try, because, and yes, you will see people do this without a mask, but you're taking your health into your own hands when you do that. So just think about that. Okay. So here we go. And yeah, I am showing you guys myself in the mask. I am showing myself in the mask. Most videos they won't show themselves in the mask, but I'm going to show myself in the mask. So I've got my A and B. I'm going to put them side by side like this. They're a little bit cold, so I like to warm them up. With the heat going here, I just want to warm it up a little bit, just because they can get a little thick when they're cold. And this has been sitting zipped up, so it's had the outside weather. So I'm going to kind of warm this up from the bottom, like this. Warm up the bottom. And just try to warm it up a little bit before I even try to stir. I don't know if it does any good, but that's what I'm going to do. Just to try to get it a little warmer than what it is. So I'm pretty much warming it up just a little bit. And I'm going to get the other one warmed up. And yeah, I probably sound like Darth Vader. So, you know, just let me know if I sound like Darth Vader. There we go. Okay, so I got them a little bit warm. They're a little bit warmer than they were. Generally, you'd like to have these at room temperature. They're a little bit colder than that, but I'm just going to go with it. Okay, so I'm going to measure this out. I have little lines on here, and I'm going to go for the 5, which I don't know if you guys can see it. So here we go. I know I sound like Darth Vader. Here we go. You can hear me breathing. And let's see, I'm going to get it a little higher. I know I'm getting it kind of high, so you guys can't see it. This is the thicker one. So we're going to go with that. Okay, so this is side A.
Unknown caller.
Oh, somebody. Disconnecting camera will interrupt audio. No. I don't know who is calling me, but they need to stop. And it disconnected the phone. Oh, because let's share it again. Before I share it, I'm gonna put this in airplane mode because people like to call me when I'm kind of busy. All right. Okay. It doesn't want to let me do that. Come on. No, I'm really not happy. All right. Let's see if I can get this back. And oh no. Some people think that I have nothing better to do than to answer the phone to them. All right. Here we go. We're back. Okay. So I got this in here. And this is the part B. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get my 5 milliliters in here. And yep, it does get hot for me under this mask. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of eyeball these. I want to make sure that they're equal parts. The idea here is that you've got to have these as equal parts. Of course, that depends on the epoxy that you're using. Those look equal. And hot. So I'm going to take my glasses off. You guys, I can't see without my glasses, but I'm going to go ahead and take my cup. Let me just move this over here so you guys can see me mixing it. And let's try this again. And I'm going to pour this in here. Just scrape it all out. And it is kind of, one side is a little thicker than the other. So here we go. I like to get it all scraped out. The idea here of putting it in a second in the silicone cup rather than pouring it all in the silicone cup right from the beginning is you want to get accurate measurements, which is also why I like to scrape it off the sides. And here we go. And then, see if I can get more. I like to try to scrape it all off equally. There we go. I'm going to put this to the side because I will take these and go back and clean them. So let's put this in here. I'm going to drop that in there. Grab another stir stick and try and get this all out. This is the one that's not as thick. One of them is a hardener, but Amazing Clear Class doesn't tell you which one it is. So, there, and there, and there. And let's see if I can get a little bit more out. Okay, I got the rest of that out. I'm going to put this to the side over here. I'm going to put it right there so you guys can see it. This, I'll put it back over here on the silicone mat, because the silicone mat, it's not going to stick. So here we go. I'm going to start stirring it. I like to scrape the side because we're trying to make sure that this all gets mixed up. It has to be mixed up. And for the longest time, I didn't want to do this because I was afraid I was going to do it wrong and it was just going to come out a mess. But it has actually not been as difficult as I thought it would be. Some people like to measure. They'll have something to measure the weight, and I have not found that necessary. So here we go. I'm going to mix some more. So I hope you guys can hear me. Like I said, I probably sound like Darth Vader or something, but we're mixing it up. Mix that up. And, I can't emphasize enough using the proper safety measures here, because this stuff really stinks. And it's bad for you. It can cause, some people, I've seen people who they're just sitting there with it out in the open and using it, and they just use some ventilation. But it smells bad, and that can't be good for you. And it's not. Some people will develop a real sensitivity to it. I even found a girl on YouTube who talked about it and how bad it was, and it was literally killing her. Now, bear in mind, that gal was making her stuff closed up in a room, and I'm not, I'm kind of closed up right now because of the weather, but, and I could probably open that door over there, but, and I forgot to pay attention to my time. So, Uh-oh. But here's the thing about this. I have a vent here, like I showed you, that is a fan that goes out through the window. So when I'm done, I zip this up because it has a zipper here. You can kind of see right here. There's a zipper. It closes and zips. And this is the way that it works for me. Some people do it out in their garage. Some people do it in another room, and then they close the door. Well, I don't have that option, so this is what's working for me. And like I said, vents out. Now, this works best when you keep it about 70 degrees. Of course, this little area here doesn't get to 70 degrees. I do have this thing right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. That, oops. Let's see. You can see that little vent there? That, that right there is an old type hairdryer that you have like a plastic thing you put over your head. I got that at Finger Hut because they were just like, we're going to cut you off. You're going to, you know, I'm not ready for them to go. I don't buy anything there, but I bought that just to keep that account open. And it's it's a heater. I use it as a heater in here, but only when I'm awake. So otherwise, when this vent is going, there's still air coming through some of these things, so it's still sending air. So you can kind of see that it's getting on here on these gloves, and that's why the gloves are important. So I'm just going to keep stirring. I'll do it for one more minute, and then we'll call it good. So it's still got some bubbles in there. I know you guys probably can't see the bubbles. And what I'll do to help with those bubbles, and just to heat it up, I'm going to heat it up a little bit here. And that helps pop some of the bubbles and to make it a little bit thinner. So I'll go like this and just keep stirring, scraping the sides so it's stirred and scraped just like that. Okay, again, the key here is safety first, you guys. That's why I have the mask on and the gloves, and this has a vent. So when I'm done, usually when I'm working, you guys, I have the vent on, but I figured you guys wouldn't be able to hear me. But it will be vented, and I'll probably open the front door and let the cold air in just to kind of get everything going. All right, I think we are ready. Okay, so let me just move these over here. I'm going to pull this up over here. This is a cup turner, okay? This right here is a cup turner, and the whole job, let me get my turner running. I'm going to find the switch. And it's going to turn this. Now, it's using, I got this one off of Amazon. I have another one on order that has a bunch of them, but it's used as a rotisserie motor, and you can get them pretty cheap and make your own. I just, you know, for the first one that I wanted to use and try this out, I just paid for this. I think it was like $30. Okay. Somebody's messaging me. All right. So, we're going to try it with these. I don't usually, you know, I've found that I don't like these. But they are silicone. And I will just start taking this and pulling this over. Just like that. Whoops. Managed to get a stick on it. Whoops. Pouring it. That's okay. Uh-oh. Here we go. This is the one problem with this. This particular thing is just tad. There's a little screw that I use. I have to go in here and fix this every once in a while because it gets loose pretty easily. I'm going to just sit this like this. And in here. See, this is why I don't like this one. Because I can't seem to keep this tight. So hopefully the new one will stay tight. I hope. And it's still not tight enough. So let me tighten this down extra tight. I should probably actually put some Epoxy or something on here to keep this tight. That's why I don't like this. That's why I'm getting a new one. And you know, it's not their fault. It's kind of my fault because I lost the piece. There we go. And doesn't want to stay. Ah, hang on. So yeah. Let me turn off. Put it up. And I know I needed to just glue this in. I just haven't done it. I will say this, you guys. Some of these things come with the post is solid in here, and I don't really like that. I don't like that. Okay, let's try this again. Let's see if it will keep going. I think it's when I use this, I tend to push down on it. I don't need to be pushing down on it too hard. There we go. You can see it's kind of going across. The idea is you got to get the whole thing covered. So I'm trying to get everything covered. It's easier to see it after you've sanded it, but sometimes that doesn't even work. Some people prefer to just use their fingers, and I have used my fingers before. Just, it helps you feel what it has epoxy on it and what doesn't. I can kind of see it right here because there's places where it's not shiny. So you can kind of get it over here. Just like that. I want to get all the way to the rim on this one. Now there are several different types of epoxy. If you're going to do this kind of thing with the cups or anything that's going to touch food, you want to make sure that you get epoxy that is food compliant. Hence the reason this is a food compliant epoxy. I had, the first one I did not use food compliant epoxy. My bad, because I didn't really know. But you do need to use food compliant epoxy to do this. So the amazing Clearcast is, they're really easy to find and research. You can research it and find something that's food compliant. And really the decorating of the cup is more fun than, you know, actually applying the epoxy. I have right now a fairly thin coat of epoxy on here. I probably will end up putting another coat of epoxy on this because it's still kind of ripply. So it's going to end up with more epoxy on it. And epoxy, because it takes, depending on the epoxy, this one's supposed to take about 12 hours, 8 to 12 hours to cure. So 8 to 12 hours. Some of them take more. Okay. Some of them will take more. Uh-oh. I gotta figure out a better way to keep my thing going. So, I hope you guys have learned a lot here, but this is basically how to set this up. You can sometimes see bubbles on here, and the way to get rid of bubbles, you know, a lot of people will use a torch, but I just use this. This is a heat gun. And that just heats it up and lets those bubbles escape. Some people like the torch because a torch, and you'll use like a torch that chefs use. I know it's weird, but they'll use a little torch. It's a little blow torch. Go over everything, and that actually will pull everything up. The other good thing about using a grow tent is a grow tent tends to keep things out of here. So, just so you guys know. And I'm going to see if I can level that. And you can kind of see that the color is really starting to pop. There it is. So you can kind of see that color pop out. But I find that this is kind of satisfying to do this. I'm getting the bottom of the cup. Some of the other cups that I made don't have that bottom. And, you know, I've used glitter on others. I didn't use a lot of glitter on this one because I didn't feel the need. There is glitter on this word here that's kind of buried. And, of course, the butterfly. Let's see if I think that needs a little more. Let's make sure. So, this will turn overnight because I like to leave them on overnight. And let's pull out, I think I can get this out. Maybe not. I should have opened it before. Do I have scissors in here? I thought I had scissors in here. Maybe not. Let me see if I got another one. Yeah, I'm not seeing. I am not seeing any other ones. And so, scissors. So these are going to live in here overnight. Because I had to take that off. And this mask, as you go working through this, it tends to make it easier. I did use on this cup, the words and the butterflies are all chalk couture stuff, so if you're looking at this expecting all my chalk couture stuff, it is using it. It's just, I put it on there and I sealed it. So, there you have it. Alright, let's see if I can get this to pour into this little horse head. It's always nice to have something that you can put your excess epoxy in, but I don't even know if I have enough excess epoxy. So let's see if I can get it in there. I think that will work. But I can use this. I'm going to pour this excess epoxy into this silicone mold. Silicone will always release the epoxy. Let's see if I can get all of it in there. Let's see. I might not get anything in there. I don't have a whole lot of epoxy, so it's not really, might not get a full horse head. Here, so let's see. And yeah, I don't think it's gonna fill that horse head. Just push it over. Just like that. And see if I can get more. I guess that's not gonna, I don't really have a lot. So the little horsey head is not going to be full. It's not going to be full. Okay, so that's it for Darth Vader evening. This is going to go all night. I'm going to go over here and open up the door and then get my fan going, remove everything. So I hope you guys learned something from this. I'm going to go ahead and pull these gloves off because I don't need them now. And they get to stay in here because they have epoxy on them and I don't want it out there. I'll leave it here. They'll get thrown away in the morning and everything else is going to get pulled out. So I hope you guys learned something. The key is you got to have a mask and gloves, and it's a good idea to have either a little culinary torch or a heat gun so that you can heat things up, and a cup turner, and obviously stuff to decorate with. So that's it for today. I guess I'm going to be answering a text message from, I think it's my daughter. So, good night. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you